You ready, Ginge? You ready, Ginge? You're my sidekick because Bennett's not here. We're live. Good evening, everyone.
Hello, everybody.
We would like to begin our meeting by acknowledging that we are conducting our business on the unceded territory of the Tsimshian people. And we feel it's an honor and a privilege to be able to do so. We would also like to acknowledge our other territories as we have trustees coming in from various locations as well as support staff. And so we would like to acknowledge the territories of the Niska, Haisla, and Gitxsan people as well. On behalf of the Board of Education, we would like to extend a warm welcome to you all in our 2020-2021 school year. The school district's first priority at all times is to ensure the safety and well-being of all students and staff. Safety and cohort plans were developed that will see the school district maximize face-to-face instruction while at the same time ensuring safety and providing face-to-face educational programs balanced with an environment that recognizes the importance of student social, emotional well-being and well-being. Families and communities can further be assured that our principals, vice principals, and district staff have designed unique Stage 2 plans for each of our schools in Coast Mountain School District. The school district's plans were shared on August 25th via the school district's website. We are confident that we have offered educational options for all parents and students during this unique time. We would like to extend our warm welcome to our meeting guests, who are Jocelyn Bagg, the new CMTF co-president. Welcome, Jocelyn. As well as Steve Keitzman, Carlisle Shepherd & Co. appointed auditor, who joins us this evening to present a verbal report on the 2019-2020 audited financial statements. Today marks a very special day, and it's officially Orange Shirt Day. The official day will be celebrated today every year. Our schools recognize this today. Orange Shirt Day is a legacy of the St. Joseph Mission Residential School commemoration event held in Williams Lake, BC. In the spring of 2013, it grew out of Phyllis's story of having her shiny new orange shirt taken away on her first day of school at the mission. And it has become an opportunity to keep the discussion on all aspects of residential schools happening annually. We share a video presentation by Phyllis, who is sharing her story about Orange Shirt Day. So that was a presentation from Phyllis Webstad, who started Orange Shirt Day, and it's available. So as you all know, we are doing things differently today. And am I still on live stream? And today we are live streaming our meeting. We have most trustees in the room, and we're in terrace. And we have 2 trustees that are attending via Zoom. We have, so just so you know, the voting process will be, because I can visually see both Raymond and Margaret, trustees attending via Zoom. Because you're visual, can you each raise your hand, because then I would know you were in favor? It might be a better way. And if you're opposed, do you want to do an X? Can you do an X or thumbs down? You have to put your thumb in front of the camera. Margaret, let's see your thumbs down. More in front, yeah, okay, next, okay. So we will watch on the screen for your votes. And we also have some of our directors as well as our superintendent attending via Zoom. Janet Meyer, our superintendent, is there. Agnes Casgrain is there. Hi, Agnes. And Geraldine Lawlor. And who else is on? That's all I can see from her.
Kieran and Julia.
And Kieran Bath, oh, there, I can see down the side, and Julia. Thank you so much for attending, you guys. We appreciate it. We actually asked our staff to not attend in person to give opportunity for others should they wish to attend our meeting. So we requested that they attend via Zoom, except we do have our secretary treasurer here today. Thank you, Ginger, a person here for us, and Carol Gagnon as well, our executive assistant. So thank you for that. So carrying on, we are looking for a declaration of quorum, and we have all trustees present in various ways. We need the approval of the agenda as presented. So I will ask for that from
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Denuser and a seconder. Trustee Yonkman. All in favor? And the motion is carried. Raymond Raj, even though I can't see you now. Oh, thank you, Raymond. Okay, and the next we have is question period, and questions were to be put forward. Were there any questions put forward? Okay, so we've changed our procedure. We used to have our question period at the end of the meeting. It was decided that it might be better to have it at the beginning of the meeting, but we have not received any questions from the public. So please, if you have questions at any time, submit them in and we will do our best to answer them either on here or through email back to you. Thank you.
Are we not taking questions from the floor?
Oh, yes, we can do that too, I forgot. Ms. Begg, do you have any questions?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Trustee Raj, are you going to attend visually or not? Okay. Okay, keep your camera on.
Oh, yes, I am. Okay, yeah, sometimes I turn both off, the mic and the camera.
And I don't know why he's, okay. Maybe, Carol, can you change the view so it's not presentation? Can you put it so it's all those little squares you see in the top right corner? Yeah, there. That's better. Thank you. And there's one person in the waiting room. Julia looks like she's trying to come in.
I think we lost her and she's coming back.
Okay. I'll let you do that. Thank you. On we go. Approval of the minutes from the prior meeting. We have 6.1, regular meeting, June 17th, 2020. I need a mover. Moved by trustee Watson, seconded by trustee Erasmus. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? And the motion is carried unanimous. Thank you. Receipt of records of in-camera meetings. 7.1, summary of in-camera meeting, June 17th, 2020.
I'll make a motion to accept those.
Trustee Denuser, seconded by trustee Youngman. All in favor? Trustee Workup? Thank you. The motion is carried. 7.2, summary of special in-camera meeting, August 31st, 2020.
I'll make a motion to accept those.
Trustee Denuser, seconder.
And second.
Trustee Watson, all in favor? And the motion is carried unanimous. Thank you. 8.1 is business arising from minutes, and this is from the regular board meeting. Agenda item 11.1.8 from June 17th, the OH&S committee, proposed membership changes. So I'll just read through this and then somebody else will have to make the motion. So June 17th, 2020, regular board meeting question, agenda item 11.1.8, District OH&S Committee proposed membership changes. The following question was received from Kim Meyer, Co-President of the Coast Mountain Teachers Federation on June 16th, 2020, relating to agenda item 11.1.8, District OH&S Committee, proposed membership changes presented at the June 17th regular board meeting. Can you please explain the difference between the Joint Health and Safety Committees in mandate number 2 and the Occupational H&S Site Committees in mandate number 4? If they are the same entities, why wouldn't they carry the same title? We thank Ms. Meyer for her question, noting revisions were made to reflect the proper entities within the mandate of the District Joint Occupational Health and Safety Committee as attached. These revisions are presented to the board with a recommendation for approval. And I would like somebody else to read the recommendation. Trustee Denuser.
I'll make the motion that the board approve the revised District Joint Occupational Health and Safety Committee mandate reflecting the revision to the wording as presented.
Seconded? Trustee Erasmus, any discussion? I'd just like to reiterate, thank you for your eagle eye, Ms. Meyer. We appreciate that, and we have fixed the problem. So thank you for clarifying with us. All in favor? The motion is carried unanimous. Thank you. We move on to number 10, to receive the Superintendent of Schools monthly report. Janet, would you like to speak to the report at all?
Not at this time. I think that that it will be released to the public after the meeting tonight.
Well, thank you for your work, and thank you for these challenging times during COVID to ensure the safety of all our students within our schools. To you and your staff, we greatly appreciate that.
Thank you.
So can I have a motion to accept the report? Trustee Watson,
I'll second that.
seconded by trustee Denuser. Any further comments, questions? Trustee Watson?
Just a comment that I love those reports, so thank you. I think they're great.
Okay, did we do all in favor? No, all in favor? I don't know if we did. Motion is carried. Thank you. Standing committee reports. Now, trustee Workup. May I ask
Yes.
let's test you in.
Okay. Let's test it and see. Shall we just try with 11.11?
Yeah,
Are
you sound clear. Go ahead.
Okay. So on pages 22 to 24, I move that the minutes of the business committee meeting held on September 23rd, 2020 be received for information.
Seconded. Trustee Erasmus. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? The motion is carried unanimous. Thank you. Carry on.
Okay, item 11.1.2, a question for the chair. Is this when Steve is going to present before I do the motion, or how do we do that?
Yes? I can't
I'm sorry,
understand.
I think Mr. Keitzman will present first.
Yes. You're on.
Do I stand or?
You could probably,
Stand beside me.
yeah, why don't you stand beside me and then everyone can see you. You'll be on camera. Or sit beside me or whatever you would. What would you prefer, sir? Not
6
too
feet,
close though. Yeah.
Stressing the poor guy out.
Sorry. That looks perfect. Can you guys see Steve? On camera?
You just need to
Janet?
talk. You need to say something.
Okay.
Good.
No.
Good evening, board. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to you about the audit of the 1920 financial statements of School District 82. We confirm that we are independent of the school district. We have conducted our audit, which is composed of 2 parts. The first part of our audit is to audit the systems and controls around the major cycles within the school district, primarily payroll. Payroll represents 85% of the school district's expenses. So we spend a great deal of the audit reviewing the controls and making sure that individuals are being paid in accordance with the relevant union agreements. As you all know, there are 2 new agreements in place that exempt staff are paid in accordance with contracts, and that the respective grids have been updated, and that individuals are paid for time worked, and all of the benefits that are deducted and paid by the school district on behalf of their employees are accurately computed. We also look at the purchasing controls around the tendering processes. Is there value for money being obtained through purchasing agreements? Are purchase orders in place approving the acquisition of goods or services? And are the payment processes and protocols in place rigid? And is there adequate segregation of duties throughout all of these processes? We confirm that the controls of the school district around the financial processes continue to be strong. And that is the first part of our audit. The second part of our audit is to look at the numbers in the financial statements that have been presented to the board. And we express an opinion as to whether or not we believe these financial statements to be materially correct. Our intention is to express what is called an unqualified opinion. Now, what that means, it's an opinion without qualification in that we believe that the financial statements are materially correct. I would also like to say that it's a pleasure working with Ginger, Linda, and the staff at the school district. They were nothing but helpful in assisting us to accumulate the information necessary for us to complete all of our audit procedures. Ginger, thank you and to you and your team.
Thank you.
And that concludes my presentation. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Do any of the trustees have questions for Steve? Seeing none,
Can I make one more comment?
of course.
Yeah, so what we have done is we have an audit report that goes along with the financial statements. And that audit report has been dated as of today's date in the hopes that the board will approve the financial statements, because we cannot date the audit report earlier than the financial statements. So, yes,
Thank you. That's our next step,
excellent.
is to look at a motion to come forward.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all very much.
And you're more than welcome to stay or not stay if you wish.
Yeah, thanks. I've actually got something I need to
That's
do with the family this evening, so
You can do that.
enjoy the rest
Thank
of the
you,
meeting.
thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Okay, trustee Warcup?
Yes, item number 11.1.2, the draft not 2019-2020 audited financial statements on page 25 to 58 are presented for us to do the motions. And this is pursuant to sections 156 and 157 of the School Act and Ministerial Order 03309. The Board of Education must submit financial statements in the form required by the Minister of Education on or before September 30th of each fiscal year. The notes, the draft 2019 and 2020 audited financial statement and accompanying notes version 7795, 7049, 5067 are attached for reference. The Business Committee reviewed the 2019-2020 audited financial statements and notes at its September 23rd, 2020 meeting and noted, okay, and forwards to the board with a recommendation for approval. I move the board approve the 2019-2020 audited financial statements and notes version 7795, 7049, 5067 as presented.
Second,
Seconded by trustee Raj. Any questions, discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Margaret?
Yes.
The motion is carried unanimous. Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Carry on, Margaret.
Okay, 11.1.3 is page 59 to 72, and this is the 2019-2020 school year financial statement discussion and analysis report prepared by our Secretary Treasurer, and it's attached to our papers tonight. This report is a summary of the School District 82's financial activities based on currently known facts, decisions, and conditions. The results of the current year are discussed in comparison with the prior year and budget. The report should be read in conjunction with the 2019-2020 audited financial statements. The Business Committee reviewed this report at its September 23rd, 2020 meeting and forwards to the board for information. I move that the board receive the 2019-2020 school year financial statement discussion and analysis report for Coast Mountain School District 82 as presented.
Seconded. Trustee Watson. Any discussion?
Prior to moving forward, I would really like to thank our Secretary Treasurer for a very detailed, informative report that helped me understand the statements and ask questions.
I echo your comment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
yeah, me too.
All in favor? The motion is carried unanimous. Thank you.
Meeting item 11.1.4, the 2019-2020 Aboriginal Education Fund carry forward. As outlined in the draft letter addressed to the Ministry of Education, the school district is requesting approval to carry forward a surplus of $2,558,415 in targeted Aboriginal education funds to the 2020-2021 fiscal year. This is pursuant to section 106.42 of the School Act the board is required to formally request approval for the Coast Mountain Board of Education to underspend its targeted Indigenous education allowance for the 2019-2020 school year. If the request for carry forward is approved, the unspent 2019-2020 surplus 258415 will be brought forward and added to the 2020-2021 targeted Indigenous education allocation and will be reflected in the 2020-21 amended annual budget. The underspent surplus will be used to fund projects that were both budgeted for and initiated in 2019-2020. However, for various reasons, including the COVID-19 pandemic, were not fully completed prior to the year end. The Business Committee reviewed this request at its September 23rd, 2020 meeting and forwards to the board with a recommendation for approval. I move that the board approve the carry forward of 258415 surplus in Aboriginal education targeted funds to the 2020-2021 fiscal year.
Seconder, trustee Yocum. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? The motion is carried unanimous. Thank you. We'll move on to 11.2 Education Committee. Trustee Workup, just do it all.
Yeah,
tonight.
I had the pleasure of reporting on this again, this meeting, and the minutes of the Education Committee meeting September 23rd, 2020. I move that the minutes of the Education Committee be received for information.
Seconder, trustee Erasmus, any discussion?
Just that it was a very full meeting. Review the minutes. There was lots of good information presented by our administrative team on everything that's happening with getting school started, as well as just where we're going and the support that we could receive from our Northern Health medical support as well. So it was a good discussion.
Excellent. Okay, all in favor? And the motion is carried. Trustee Raj, I didn't see your hand. Thank you. The motion is carried. Just making sure you're paying attention. 1.2.2, trustee Workup.
Okay, these are the 2020-2021 school growth plans. School growth plans form a part of the provincial accountability framework to improve and strengthen student learning. The School Act requires the school principal to prepare and submit the plan for the board's approval. Our Coast Mountain School District participates in the Networks of Inquiry and Innovation, NOII, and the Aboriginal Enhancement Schools Network, AESN, through the teachings of Dr. Judy Halbert and Linda Kaiser. Schools have participated on a voluntary and an annual basis. The Spiral of Inquiry process provides school teams with the structure for guiding their improvement and innovation work. Participating schools develop a question to address through their inquiry, collaborate with colleagues through regional meetings, and share case studies in a spirit of generosity and curiosity. AESN schools link their inquiries specifically to Aboriginal ways of knowing. Based on the value of the Spiral of Inquiry process for the learning of our students, the 2021 school growth plans for Coast Mountain schools were developed utilizing the inquiry process. The plan template follows the Spiral of Inquiry process, which has 6 key stages: scanning, focusing, developing a hunch, new professional learning, taking action, and checking that a big enough difference has been made. At each stage in the spiral, 3 questions are asked. What is going on for our learners? How do we know, and why does it matter? An overview of the 2021 school growth plans was presented to the Education Committee at the September 23rd, 2020 meeting. The Education Committee forwards the 2021 school growth plans to the board with a recommendation for approval. I move that the board approve the 2021 school growth plans.
Seconded by trustee Erasmus. Any discussion? Trustee Erasmus?
I'd like to make a comment that having read the school growth plans, they were in much detail. And for each school, and every school principal had the opportunity to make some comments of what that school is doing. And those are well done, and it'll be interesting to see what they do to follow.
Thank you. Trustee Watson?
Yeah, so, yeah, the school growth plans, I think, are really informative and obviously quite important. There's a few that really stood out for me. I always like it when I see people thinking outside the box and doing things a little different. So things like learning in nature. One school had identified the use of wraparound services as a way to improve the success of learners, and another school recognizing the use of student voice and choice to increase attendance. And those are really creative things to do and different ways to engage all the learners. I did have a question, and I'm probably one of the staff will be able to answer, that a couple of schools had mentioned a blitz room. And I'm just wondering if somebody can describe to me what a blitz room is. Thanks.
Janet, can I put that to you?
You can, and I'd also like to request a comment after I answer trustee Watson's question. So trustee Watson, a blitz room, blitzing is a strategy used to develop students' phonological awareness. There are 9 phonological awareness skills that help students progress in their reading. And we have assessments in place that identify strengths and areas that need further intervention for every student along the continuum of those phonological awareness skills. So if you and I are in the same class, my area that requires intervention might be blends. So blends. Yours might be something in the area of let's say comprehension. So when we blitz, we're in the same classroom, but I go to the blends group and you go to a different group where your skills are targeted and intervention is provided in that regard.
Does that explain to you?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have you had a comment?
I did actually. I'd like to comment related to the school growth plans. And I appreciate the comments made by trustee Erasmus as well as trustee Watson around the work that goes into preparing these growth plans, and not just preparing them, but following through on them and looking at the spiral and intervening at every stage. And I'd like to acknowledge the work of not only our school administration as it relates to growth plans, but also to the work of our teaching and support staff as it relates to focusing on students and learning. So thank you.
Thank you. And I think all of us echo the comments made about the work that goes into them and the commitment of the schools and the staff. So thank you. And we still have the motion. So all in favor? And the motion is carried unanimous. Thank you. And our last item is a new business item. And trustee Denuser, would you like to present this for us?
Sure, you can. Yeah, I had approached the board in the summer to ask for some letter of support for the Hyder-Stewart Transborder
The bear bubble?
The bear bubble, they're calling it, yes, yes. And thankfully, we had a meeting and a letter was generated. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. A very good letter. So since then, not much has happened, unfortunately. Minister is it Bill Blair has not commented to the Hyder Stewart Action Committee at all. Hasn't said anything. But they have managed to generate quite a bit of media attention to the group, and it does make sense that, you know, unfortunately those children don't have a school in Alaska that they can go to. So the next option is to come to Stewart like they used to do many years ago. They always came to Stewart to go to school. So, and we're talking elementary students. They're not even high school students. They're elementary students. So being in school is pretty crucial. So I don't know what's going to happen if the minister is ever going to acknowledge the Bear Bubble Committee. But the superintendent was in town one day and attended a meeting with our MP Taylor Backrath, myself, and the committee members, as well as the students. And it was a nice little photo op, and just one more way to put it out there. And then she also attended with myself and a bunch of other people from Stewart, a very peaceful rally to bring more attention to the issue that following Saturday after that weekend when she was there. So, we're still pushing away at it, plugging away at it. I don't know if there's what other steps can be done. I think CBC is in Stewart today and tomorrow, interviewing people, and they're gonna do another story on it. So hopefully they can allow, not only are the students stuck in Hyder and can't come out, but there's people in Hyder themselves that they don't have a gas station, they don't have a grocery store, they don't have church services, they have nothing over there so it's very, very unfortunate. And because COVID is going to be around for a long time, it's not going away quickly. I think that it would be the right thing to do for our federal government to take a look at it and go, you know, up until maybe 20 years ago, there was never a border there. It was just a road. So the border, I believe, was put in for financial reasons, to stop trans-border shopping. People order stuff from Alaska, didn't get it from the grocery stores in Stewart and in Canada. So that was the reason behind it. The community is one. There's 60 people over there and 400 that live in Stewart. So they just happen to be a border in the middle, is what it is. So I appreciate everybody's help on it, and you know, if anybody has any suggestions, let me know.
So on page 99, there's a motion that we accept those.
Okay, so
Receive
then
the letter of support. That
I would like to make a motion that the board receive the letter of support provided to the Hyder Stewart Action Committee.
Seconded. Trustee Watson. I would just like to say that after the throne speech to the throne, Taylor Backrath did a Facebook meeting thing, information session. And he did mention that the Stewart-Hyder border issue is still on the table, and he hasn't forgot about it. So it was mentioned there. So Taylor Backrath, if you're listening,
Yeah,
The
he's
school
been
district
very
supports-
supportive. He's been wonderful.
supports the
He's been really
initiative.
good.
Trustee Watson?
So, just a question, has nothing to do with the school district, but what do the people over in Hyder then do about groceries, about food, and?
They're permitted to have one person per household come over once a week to Stewart and shop. So there is
So
transport.
there is transport that's
They
being
are
deemed
going back,
essential.
deemed essential. Workers in Stewart can go through Hyder to get back into Canada to get them into the mining activity that's up further. So there is daily plenty of cross-border. It just so happens that the education right now is not considered an
It's
essential. So therefore, the students are not allowed to go over.
It is essential.
Trustee Erasmus?
And from the perspective of the school district and the children that work under the school district's rules, it's important that this board pay attention to that and write the letter that was written and so forth, because the kids get left out in no place. And so it's important that the school district doesn't worry so much about the shopping, because there's enough people to take care of that, but take care of the kids, and there aren't very many of them.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor of the motion on the table? Okay, the motion is carried, unanimous, thank you. We'll move on to trustee reports, and I know trustee Warcup has a report to talk about, so I'm going to let her go first.
Yeah, just a quick comment. I haven't been able to talk to all of my schools as their liaison, but
I'm holding
over
up.
this able to read Monique Grace Smith's online course. I understand she spoke with our teachers and our educators and staff on the midday, and her course, The Ripple Effect of Resiliency, which Shar just held up, strategies for fostering resilience with Indigenous children, is a very informative online course that has helped me understand some of the things that we need to do.
Thank you. Any other trustees? Trustee Erasmus?
I contacted my 3 schools about kids coming to school and parents being worried, et cetera, et cetera. And between the schools and some of the parents, they've had discussions about what the options are and what the options are not, and what's good for kids and what isn't good for kids. And those are good discussions that are taking place. And I know that the board is working with parents from different communities where they're asking the same questions. And as a board, we need to be there to tell people that this is good for kids or what isn't good for kids or whatever, so that those conversations carry on behalf of the kids.
Thank you. Anyone else? I'd just like to say a couple things around that. Kudos to our staff, all of you, for doing such a great job to ensure that all of our students are safe. And that I'd also like to say to the public that we think that we're planning another town hall meeting. We haven't set a date yet, but if you have questions in regard to your students going to school or concerns, please forward them to the board office and we will deal with them. And in the next couple of weeks, we will be sending out something once we make arrangements to have another town hall. And we hope that you can all attend and just everyone be safe out there. Thank you. Does anyone else have anything? Trustee Warcup? Oh, no, you were saying goodbye? Oh, okay. Okay, seeing nothing else, our next meeting will be at Mudsegale Galiax on October 28th, 2020. And everyone, have a lovely evening. Our meeting is adjourned. Thank you.